Today our topic is types of nonverbal communication, written by Kendra Cherry, MSCD, updated on February 22, 2023. And this article is reviewed by David Usman, PhD. Table of contents included types, examples, why nonverbal communication is important, how to improve. Nonverbal communications means conveying information without using words. This might involve using certain facial expressions or hand gestures to make a specific point, or it could involve the use or non use of eye contact, physical proximity, and other nonverbal cues to get a message across. A substantial portion of our communication is nonverbal. In fact, some researchers suggest that the percentage of nonverbal communication is 4 times that of verbal communication, with 80% of what we communicate involving our actions and gestures versus only 20% being conveyed with the use of words. Every day, we respond to thousands of nonverbal cues and behaviors, including postures, facial expressions, eye gaze, gestures, and tone of voice. From our handshakes to our hairstyles, our nonverbal communication reveals how we are and impact how we relate to other people. Types of nonverbal communication. Scientific research on nonverbal communication and behavior began with the 1872 publication of Charles Darwin's The Expression of the Emotions in Men and Animals. Since that time, a wealth of research has been devoted to the types, effects, and expressions of unspoken communication and behavior. Nonverbal communication types. While these signals can be subtle that we are not consciously aware of them, research has identified 9 types of nonverbal communication. These nonverbal communication types are facial expressions, gestures, paralinguistics such as loudness and or tone of voice, body language, proxemics or personal space, eye gaze, haptics, touch, appearance, artifacts, objects and images. Facial expressions. What is facial expression? Facial expressions are responsible for a huge proportion of non-verbal communication. Consider how much information can be conveyed with a smile or a frown. The look on a person's face is often the first thing we see, even before we hear what they have to say. While non-verbal communication and behavior can vary dramatically between cultures, and facial expressions for happiness, sadness, anger, and fear are similar thoughts. The words, as pictures shown, universal facial expressions: happiness, sadness, anger, fear. These are the universal expression emotions. Next one is gestures. Deliberate movements and signals are an important way to communicate meaning without words. Common gestures include waving, pointing, and giving a thumb up sign. Other gestures are arbitrary and related to culture. For example, in the US, putting the index and middle finger in the shape of a V with your palm facing out is often considered to be a sign of peace or victory. Yet, in British, Australia, and other parts of the world, these gestures can be considered an insult. Nonverbal communication via gesture is so powerful and influential that some judges place limits on which ones are allowed in the courtroom, where they can sway juror opinions. An attorney might glance at their watch to suggest that the opposing lawyer's argument is tedious, for instance, or they may roll their eyes during a witness testimony in an attempt to undermine that person's credibility. Next one is paralinguistics. What is paralinguistics? Paralinguistics refers to a vocal communication that is separate from actual language. This form of nonverbal communication includes factors such as tone of voice, loudness, inflection, and pitch. For example, consider the powerful effect that tone of voice can have on the meaning of a sentence. When said in a strong tone of voice, listeners might interpret a statement as approval and enthusiasm. The same word said in a hesitant tone can convey disapproval and lack of interest. Next one is body language and posture. Posture and movement can also provide a great deal of information. Research on body language has grown significantly since in the 1970s, with popular media focusing on the over interpretation of defensive postures such as arm crossing and leg crossing, especially after the publication of Julius Fast's book Body Language. While these nonverbal communications can indicate feelings and attitudes, body language is often subtle and less definitive than previously believed. Next type is proxemics. People often refer to their need for personal space. This is known as proxemics and is another important type of nonverbal communication. The amount of distance we need and the amount of space we perceive as belonging to us influenced by several factors. Among them are social norms, cultural expectations, situational factors, personality characteristics, and level of familiarity. The amount of personal space needed when having a casual conversation with another person can vary between 18 inches and 4 feet. The personal distance needed when speaking to a crowd of people is usually around 10 to 12 feet. Next type is eye gaze. Eye gaze. The eyes play a role in nonverbal communication, with such things as looking, staring, and blinking being important cues. For example, when you encounter people or things that you like, your rate of blinking increases and your pupils dilate. People's eyes can indicate a range of emotions, including hostility, interest, and attraction. People also often utilize eyes gaze cues to gauge a person's honesty. Normal, steady eye contact is often taken as a sign that a person is telling the truth and is trustworthy. Shifty eyes and inability to maintain eye contact, on the other hand, is frequently seen as an indicator that someone is lying or being deceptive. However, some researchers suggest that eye gaze does not accurately predict lying behavior. Next one is haptics. Communicating through touch is another important nonverbal communication behavior. Touch can be used to communicate affection, familiarity, sympathy, and other emotions. In her book Interpersonal Communication, Everyday Encounters, author Julia Wood writes that touch is also often used to communicate both status and power. High status individuals tend to invade other people's personal space with greater frequency and intensity than lower status individuals. Sex differences also play a role in how people utilize touch to communicate meaning. Women tend to use touch to convey care, concern, and nurturance. Men, on the other hand, are more likely to use touch to assert power or control over others. There has been a substantial amount of research on the importance of touch in infancy and early childhood. Harlow's classic monkey study, for example, demonstrated how being deprived of touch impairs development. In experiments, baby monkeys raised by wires mothers experienced permanent deficits in the behavior and social interactions. Appearance. Our choice of clothing, hairstyle, and other appearance factors are also considered a mean of nonverbal communication. Research on color psychology has demonstrated that different colors can evoke different moods. Appearance can also alter physiological reactions, judgments, and interpretations. Just think of all the subtle judgments you quickly make about someone based on their appearance. These first impressions are important, which is why experts suggest that job seekers dress appropriately for interviews with potential employers. Researchers have found that appearance can even play a role in how much people earn. Attractive people tend to earn more and receive other fringe benefits, including higher quality jobs. Culture is an important influence on how appearances are judged. While thinness tends to be valued in Western cultures, some African cultures relate full figured bodies to better health, wealth, and social status. Artifacts. What is artifacts? Objects and images are also tools that can be used to communicate non-verbally on an online form. For example, you might select an avatar to represent your identity and to communicate information about who you are and the things you like. People often spend a great deal of time developing a particular image and surrounding themselves with objects designed to convey information about the things that are important to them. Uniforms, for example, can be used to transmit a tremendous amount of information about a person. A soldier will don fatigues, a police officer will wear a specific. सारी मेहनत ज़ाया कर दी है